What is going on, everybody? You already know it is Friday night. It is 7 p.m. It is inside the Octagon on Out of the Box Sports Entertainment, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter. My name is Paul Spencer, and that man right there is Josh Gordon. Josh, what's going on, brother?
Not too bad, Paul. About yourself, man?
I'm doing good, doing good. Finally enjoying some nice weather. First and foremost, we got some nice
Yeah.
weather. Finally, no more snow. No
No,
more snow.
no, sir. No more snow. It's been very. It's almost like spring is here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. You can walk out with a t-shirt on now. You don't have to pull out
Hmm.
that big coat anymore. But the reason why we're here, Josh, last week we did the UFC prediction show, and I got to give you the hands down here, 4 out of 5, brother, on the main card.
Yeah.
Pretty damn good. What fight, real quick, before we get into each fight? Which one did you lose, Josh? Let everybody know.
Oh man, I lost that Bahamondes fight against Jalen Turner. I really thought Jalen Turner was going to be able to pull it out of the fire for that one, and he didn't make it. Ended up retiring after that fight, and I got that one loss on my parlay. So
Hey, 4 out of 5 is not bad. That's 80%, man. 80%
yeah,
there. That's pretty damn good. But you probably took a parlay though, a 5-game parlay, didn't you? Instead of
yeah, I
singles, right?
did. I
Yeah.
did.
All right, well, John, let's get into UFC 313 here, man. We did predictions last week, as I said. My prelim fight was the excuse me, Josh Van fight, of course, and you picked Curtis Blades fight.
I
A great.
know, and I'm so upset because Curtis Blades, there's an illness within the camp, and
Yeah,
they had to
yeah,
cancel the fight last minute, and that's just an absolute bummer because I think that fight was going to be a banger,
yeah.
because he was going to fight that up and comer
Hmm.
which this fight was already
Yep.
crazy in the first place for even being matched up, but yeah, that was very upsetting. Do you think that they could be? You think that they'll try to do a rematch or not rematch, but you think they'll try it, run it back, and see if they can do it?
I think they do, but I don't think it's going to be on a main card, or it has to be on a prelim, or maybe we'll get that like on a UFC fight night
Fight
coming
night,
up. Maybe,
yeah.
yeah, something like that. I can't see it being on the main card anymore, or even like the early no, prelims. I want to say not early prelims. I don't think they will because they've already got a set in stone, and I don't think they can actually add another one, onto a fight card. They can, but I would love to have seen it because I was really curious about how that was going to go. I mean, you got two sluggers out there that anything can happen with this one, Josh. But
Hmm.
before this started, we're at 6 o'clock. We got our drinks ready. We got our food ready on the table. We're making sure that nobody's bothering. Phones turned off. Josh, we almost had an hour and a half delay, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I know that was crazy. Well, so many fights were canceled.
yeah,
Like it was supposed to be an early prelims, then prelims, and then
yes,
main event. Well, there's not enough fights for an early. There's one fight during the
yeah,
early prelims, so everybody was told that the fights were starting at 6:30. Well, they
mhm,
ended up being moved up and then
yeah,
moved up and then moved up. So pretty much everybody tuned in around 7. They done
yep,
drank their beer already, done ate their food, and they're wondering, well, damn, when are we going to get to see some fights here? And yeah, it
yeah.
was a late start. Might have well just been prelims and a main card. Should have started at 8 and worked its way into 10. Then we could have watched less commercials.
Yeah, I seen enough of some BS talking about some fighter pre-fights and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Previous fights. I got enough of that, dude. Like, listen, we watch every damn fight. I seen that. I seen it live. I don't need to recap it. You know, and I agree with you. They should have just moved that early prelim and say, hey, one bout. Let's just move it up to 7:45 ish, and let's start the show then. Too much BS, too much commentary for me, but kind of pissed off if we delayed an hour and a half there, almost an hour and a half there. A couple comments. Eileen checking in. Eileen's one of our good fans out there. Thanks for checking in, Eileen. Appreciate you. Larry checks in, says, have a great show, fellas. Welcome to the team, Josh. Larry's one of our hosts of the Part-Time Marks and Atomic Drop, talking WWEs. He's actually used to be a pro wrestler here in Johnstown as well.
Oh, really?
Mhm. Yep. You guys have me watching all this. Now, Larry, he never really watched UFC until he heard me in the group chat talking about UFC. Now, Saturday night, I know where Larry's at. He's watching UFC with us too. So
Nice. Glad to
glad
get
we
somebody
converted
on the
you, Larry.
train, man.
Yes, glad we converted you, brother. First of all, you know, but yeah, but real quick, John, I want to ask you something. If you're going into a main card, even though there was only one fight on the prelims,
Mhm.
let's just say there was another fight there. How does a fighter do you adapt? Because let's say you're the early prelim fight, and you're scheduled the third prelim of the night. Okay, on that early prelim,
Mhm.
Dana comes to you and says, "Hey, two bouts are canceled. I know you're starting at 7:30 here. You're going on at 6:15. How does that make you feel as a fighter? Because your mentality, number one, you go through a routine, Josh. It's different for you. It's different. That mentality is different.
Well, you are here when you are fighting for the UFC. Your number one goal should be the best in the world. And to
Yeah, yeah.
me, if you are going to be a UFC fighter, it
Mhm.
doesn't matter what time, what day, who
Okay,
your opponent is, especially if you have had a full camp and you know you're already fighting tonight, you should
agree.
be ready at 6 at the same you should be able to be ready at 6 or how do I sorry. You should be able to be ready at any time of the day is what I'm trying to
True.
say here.
It's
If
true.
you're working your way up, you're a young buck like a lot of these prelim guys are,
Hmm.
you should be ready at any moment. You know you're fighting that night, whether it's 6 o'clock, whether it's 7 o'clock, whether it's 8 o'clock, you need to be, if you're in that situation, you need to be ready to go at any time.
Okay, gotcha,
That's how
gotcha.
I
I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Larry actually took your picks, so he went 4 out of the 5. I went 3 out of the 5. Our last main
yeah.
event, I took the other guy here, and of course I lost. Same one you did. So I went 3 out of 5. I flunked this week. I got a D. I went 60%. You went 80%. So Larry, follow Josh. He will give you his picks next week on UFC Fight Night when we talk about that Leon Edwards versus Sean Brady. So pay attention to Josh. Don't listen to me. 100%. All right. Well, how about we move into this here? I want to talk about something even before we get into the fights here, Josh. I said on the previous show where these judges are just totally insane to me right now. Where I don't know how to call a fight anymore because the fact that if you don't win by knockout or submission, Josh, and it's a 3-round fight, and you dominate this fight, you can clearly lose the fight with these damn judges. I'll tell you that because I got to talk about this. Can we talk about judges? What in the hell are they watching? Robbery, Josh, because we won't even talk about this really going into the fight, but I just want to mention Santos. Can we talk about and Marshall? What the hell went on?
Yeah, that Marin Santos versus Francis Marshall fight,
Wow.
the crowd, the commentators, me
Yeah.
in my seat,
Yeah.
everybody believed that Francis Marshall took that man in the second and third round.
Yeah.
And the crowd showed, they booed. They
Yeah.
booed to that decision.
Mhm.
I have no idea how how the judges could have come up with that score for Marin Santos to win. But there's been many calls like this in the past, where you just the crowd, the arena, the commentators, everybody feels like this one fighter should have won, but
Mhm.
then it's swing to this guy, and then everybody's just like, how? How is
Yeah.
it swung to this man? What do you think? Do you think that there should be any changes to the judging in the UFC? To get better judging at all?
You know what? The first one I really want to use is accountability. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
who is it? Sal Diamato. Okay, that judge to me has made some of the biggest mistakes in UFC to me of how he's judged scorecards. But what I think, Josh, honestly, I've always said this, and I don't think it's ever going to happen because the judges they need to feel the atmosphere. But I think that's wrong to feel the atmosphere. I think all 3 judges should be isolated somewhere away from the crowd, away from the announcers, headsets on, soundproof room, watching the TV one on one for each fight they're judging. They're off the fight, they get out of the room, next judge comes in. Because, Josh, if I'm watching the fight, say if you and I are watching the fight together, Josh, and I look down for a second, I'm not going to catch every little strike, every little kick.
Mhm.
I'm not going to see it. But if I hear Josh say, "Oh," that's going to leave a memory in my mind and say, well, "Shit, maybe I missed that significant strike. Maybe I missed that." Everybody's oohing and ah. To me, the crowd plays into it, Josh. The announcers play into it, and it's the atmosphere that plays into it too. But that's no, that's that's not helping this fight, Josh, because I had a 2-1 opposite, okay,
Mhm.
but unanimous 29-28. And then what the hell was the one judge saying 30-27,
Yeah,
Josh?
30-27 is absolutely nuts. That's crazy. That man needs fired. That guy needs let
Yeah,
go.
yeah. I mean, what is your solution though? I mean, what can we
No,
do?
I agree with you. No, like I think that I think not only should the judges be in a private room, but me personally, and this is
Mhm.
very controversial opinion, is I think that there needs to be more judges. Right now as the
Oh,
UFC
okay.
stands, the judging is up to 3 people. Well, I believe it needs to be up to 5 because
Wow.
there's so
Okay.
many things that goes on in a fight where you are correct. If somebody hears, ooh, if they hear the crowd going wild or anything like that. I remember during the when Islam Makhachev fought Moicano,
Mhm.
and Moicano went to go throw, I think, like a straight right, and he ended up hitting Islam in the shoulder, which caused him to knock. It was like one of those not freak accidents, but it was one of those freak weird things where Islam slipped and Moicano threw a straight at the same time, and Islam ended up slipping to the ground, and the crowd went crazy because they thought Moicano got a knockdown, but in reality, he just knocked him in the shoulder. And
Yeah.
but because of the crowd's reaction, the judges, like you say, could have swung that towards Moicano in that round. It could have called it a knockdown, which is why I think that not only should the judges be in a private area, but I think there needs to be more judges in general. Having 3 people, I I just don't think that's enough minds in the pot.
Okay.
I think there needs to be more brains involved when you're judging a fight.
Mm.
Because I don't know that 39 or 39
30-27.
that 30-27 is absolutely crazy, and I believe that
Yeah.
if you had more
Okay.
guys with them, I feel like the odds would be a little bit more swayed.
Okay. Let me ask you this, Josh. Okay. We had it 2-1 opposite
Mhm.
way. You agree with that, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. With this one here, when you have 3 judges, how can we hold them accountable? Do we go back and look at their track record of, bogus calls and questionable decisions? How do we hold them accountable? Because Josh, my question is, how the hell do you see something 30-27 when it's opposite? You pick the loser and you have him unanimous, Josh. This isn't the first time this has happened. We've seen it many of times where we're watching a fight and it's like, okay, well, hey, it's 2-1. That was an easy call. Next thing you know, the winner is your hand, the other hand's raised, and you're thinking like, God damn, I could be a freaking judge. You know what I mean? Like this dude's a freaking idiot. How do we hold these guys accountable though? Do we go back and check the track records?
I mean, there's track records. I mean, to be a judge in any sporting event, those guys are rare. They're
Yeah,
they're a different breed, and there you can't just go down the street and find a judge around any corner and be like,
sure.
"Hey, come watch
Agree.
this." So there should be I don't really know how you would hold a judge accountable other
Mhm.
than, letting them go for having too many close calls or too many off calls, which the UFC has already done in the past, letting
Yeah.
certain judges go.
Mhm.
Um, I I I really couldn't give an answer on judges on how you can make them hold accountability for it. Maybe, I don't know, putting a dent in their purse for thinking away. I really don't know, Paul. I don't
Okay.
know. Can you think of anything how we can hold judges accountable for their scoring?
No, I really don't. I mean, I wish I had an answer for that, Josh. That would be
Mhm.
the best solution out there. But maybe put a dent in their,
Yeah.
yeah, the judging purse.
Mhm.
But when you have questionable calls over and over and over. But
Mhm.
Josh, some of the referees, they have their tendencies. They like
Yeah.
they call, if a guy has a grapple, for say, let's just say 2 minutes and 31 seconds of the match, they're giving that fighter with a 1 second advantage the entire match. Every judge has
Yeah.
their own cliche of how they call a fight, Josh. Significant strikes mean a lot to
Mhm.
me. Ground control means a lot to me too.
Mhm.
You see different fighters the way they fight. Khabib, ground control is a big thing for him. A
Yeah,
lot of like
control time,
it's
yeah.
control, right?
Mhm.
Judges call it different ways, but I kind of do agree with you. I think they maybe need at least one more judge in there, that fourth guy. But
Mhm.
whoever calls a fight 30-27, okay, maybe 29-28 is okay with me. That's just a run advantage. You got it wrong either way. But when I see a 30-27, Josh, I'm writing down that guy's name and say after the show, meet me at the performance center. You know what I mean? We need,
Yeah.
and let's just rewatch there. And you tell me, Josh, why did you call this 30-27? What did you see to me? And hold him accountable one on one. Don't
Mhm.
embarrass him on, he's fired. Talk to him
Mhm.
one on one as like a coach with a player. You know what I mean? That's
Like,
what I would do.
kinda like a, that Almost like a post press conference, like a post fight press conference between judges. Why
Yes.
they scored that way. I actually agree with you on that. Maybe if the UFC implemented something like that, like after the fights, how they have the
Mhm.
post fight press conferences with everybody. Why not bring the judges onto the stage and ask them, like, why did you score this fight this way? How did you view this?
Agree.
Why did you think? Because
Mhm.
I don't know. I agree with you, Paul. I do agree. Maybe we can the UFC can implement something, and where we can get a one on one with the judges and reporters, and they can be questioned, in front of an audience and in front of
Oh, I
a
would love that.
camera. That would help not only the fan base,
Yeah.
understanding why these judges are scoring fights the way they're judging, but it may lead to like why these fights are being
Yeah.
swayed the other way, because these
Oof.
judges do come in and we watch these fights, but you don't see them before the fight. You don't see them after the fight. The judges are even never viewed on the camera.
Yeah.
The camera pans to the octagon, it pans to the
Yep.
sign girls, it pans to but it never pans to the judges ever.
Mhm. And
You
the
know?
crazy thing, we don't even get that till the co-main event. We don't know the judges on there. They put at the bottom, this guy's
Mhm.
judge, the 3 judges here, but we don't hear their names until, like the main event, co-main event. That's when we
Yeah.
hear them.
Mhm.
Hold these I would love that, Josh. We ask players the hard questions. Say, "Hey, Pierre, why did you lose that fight? What happened? Was, Magomed just too strong? Was, something that you've seen?" I would love to see a judge up there, Josh. Hey, Josh, you know, I see everybody in the building, you heard the ooh, no way, the BS, all the calls out there, the whistles. You had it 30-27. Can you clearly tell me what you seen and maybe that we didn't see out of our eyes? Can you
Mhm.
please elaborate? Hold him accountable in front of people. Let him, acknowledge what he's seen, right or wrong, but it's bad for the sport, Josh. It really is.
Yeah, yeah, it's very bad, and obviously, when you have an arena of people booing at you,
Yeah.
that's a significant sign. Like, hey, maybe we should do something about this.
And the crazy thing, before we move on, Eddie checks in. He's one of our network hosts as well. He has a
Hello,
question
Eddie.
here for Josh. What sport has more crooked judges, UFC or boxing? I don't want to say they're crooked. I don't want to call them crooked. I just think maybe that they need to find a solution, like we're trying to say, a fourth or fifth judge, isolate them somewhere, because I think it would be different if they were isolated in a different room. We would see a different kind of judging system. Honestly, what do you think?
Uh, boxing has most crooked judges, but no, no, yeah,
More
I
money
agree
involved. More
with
money
you.
involved. More money involved in boxing. Yeah, I kind of agree with that one.
No, 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 yeah, I don't think it's the judging is being as crooked. Like, I don't think people are being swayed by
Yeah.
by other people. Like, I don't think it's a money thing. I don't think it's because these judges, it's not like they're making parlays on this. They're legally
Yeah.
not allowed to. I
As far as
just
we know, Josh, as far as we know, they're not
yeah,
under a
as
bogus
far
name.
as we know, I mean, there's been some things in the past where
Yeah,
judges have been
sure.
called out and gotten in trouble in the
Mhm.
UFC, but we haven't heard of it in years.
Right.
It seems to be a problem that they found a solution for,
Agree.
but yeah, no, where we talking about how. Yeah, and the more and more I think about it, having a post-fight press conference between judges just
Yeah.
seems like giving the ability for reporters to
Yeah.
ask questions to judges. I think that would help the fan base, and that
Agree.
would help,
Agree.
let us figure out what's going on in these judges' heads.
Agree. Moving on to the prelims here, Josh. You picked Curtis Blades on your, preview of the pre-show here that we
Yeah.
did last week. I know I picked Joshua Van versus my guy,
Mhm.
Reed Sorry. You know what? I took a heart bet here. I took my guy Reed. You know what? I
Mhm.
got to give you the respect because this wasn't even close, Josh. This is not even wasn't even
No, no, it
close.
wasn't close at all. Joshua Van, he's an absolute monster.
Yes.
He's a beast. He puts it on him.
Yeah.
He had control of that fight all three rounds. He
Hmm.
had a dominant performance.
Yep.
This guy, I've seen him fight a couple times in the UFC. He's only 13-2 now,
Hmm.
but he fights like a vet. He
He
fights with
does.
heart, and he fights like, hey, I'm in the UFC. You're an up and coming guy just like me. I'm going to
Mhm.
go out there, I'm going to put on a show, and I'm going to dominate. And that's exactly what Joshua Van did. He did what he needed to, it was
100%.
a flyweight event. There was no knockouts. Nobody was expecting a knockout for this fight, but he did what he had to, and he ended up getting that decision win in the end.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It was domination to me. My guy didn't stand a chance here. He was just outclassed, outperformed, outconditioned. And you know
Mhm.
what? It was, to me, he put on a show. It was a technical display of what he could do, and not even what he could do, whatever he wanted to do. Put it that way.
Yeah, conditioning was a very big part in this one, especially
Mhm.
at flyweight. Those
Yeah,
guys are
they
known
fly.
to
Yeah.
have the best cardio,
Mhm.
and Wright's, Saru, I'm not even going to try to butcher his last name. So we're just going to call him his
Arts.
opponent.
Yeah, his opponent. There we
His
go. The guy that
opponent,
got his
Joshua
ass
Van's
kicked. Yeah.
opponent, his conditioning, you could really see it in that third
Yeah.
round. He really struggled while Joshua Van still looked somewhat fresh coming into that third round. But yeah, no, the
Yeah, I'm
conditioning
glad
was
you
a
said
very
that.
big
Yeah,
part.
I noticed that too. The third round, my man was gassing for air, honestly. And Joshua Van's just like, hey, I can go another 5 rounds if you want to go. It's not a big deal to me. But yeah, welcome to the UFC, Rye. It's
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
it definitely
His
shown,
first
what it
loss,
was.
Joshua Van. He was
Yeah,
10-0 coming in.
exactly, exactly. Welcome to the UFC, rookie, I want to say. Welcome to the UFC rookie, you know what I mean? But yeah, that was my fight. I didn't put money on it. I was just more of a heart pick to me. I knew
Mhm.
Joshua Van was going to win this, but the way it happened, I didn't think it was going to be that domination, though, Josh, honestly.
Yeah.
But all right, let's move into the main card here. Let's talk about, yeah, I'm not going to call him King Green anymore. I am not going to call him King Green anymore. He is done. This is the last time I'm going to say his name, King Green. Wow, the spinning wheel kick. Josh,
Yeah,
Josh,
first
wow.
round. First
First
round
round.
KO by
Wow.
spinning wheel kick. These Brazilian nerds coming
Oh,
in here, man. They are
God.
absolutely dominating. What Mauricio Rufy did to King Green is just I don't know.
Mm,
I don't know if it's because King Green has fallen off the wagon so much that Mauricio Rufy was able to do that, or if Mauricio Rufy's that good that he's able to time something like that and do something like that to a vet like King Green.
agree.
I don't know. I I don't know. To me, King Green is past his prime. He's old. I think he needs to retire. I believe he was removed from the UFC roster. I don't know if that was his last fight. I don't know if that's been confirmed or anything
Mhm.
like that. But I really think that this guy needs to retire. After his performance with Mauricio Rufy getting spilling heel kicks, King Green has been knocked out so many times, man. So many times. I mean, he's coming off a loss against Paddy Pimblett, which had him
Yeah,
in a arm bar.
yeah.
Well, first had him in a triangle, then transitioned to an arm bar, and he was already passed out before he transitioned to an arm
Yes.
bar. So I don't know, man. I don't know. What do you think about that fight?
Uh, well, there wasn't really much to talk about, honestly,
Yeah, I
Josh.
guess
I mean, I
first
get that
round
point,
KO, spinning
but
heel kick.
I'll elaborate on what you said. King Green here. I mean, his last win was against a legend named Jim Miller.
Jim
That was
Miller,
his
yeah.
last win. He had Cooker, but it was canceled. I get that. At least it's not a loss on your record, but you lost to Jalen Turner as well. Then you go
Mhm.
back 3 years ago, and then you win another fight versus Grant Dawson.
Yeah,
Two of your last fights
Aaron
are
Dawson's
really,
first loss.
you know, not big name fighters, but who you lose to and how. The statement is how you lose, Josh. How you lose. Green
Yeah,
has
so
to retire. He's done. He has to, or either you're off you're off the roster. You have to
yeah,
be.
King Green was put in a position where he was what I like to use this term called gatekeeper. Now, I
Yeah.
use
Mhm,
this term for many fighters in the
mhm,
UFC throughout multiple divisions, and I believe King Green was one of those gatekeepers for the
yeah.
lightweight division, and he's a very good for those guys like Grant Dawson, Mauricio Rufy,
Mhm,
Paddy Pimblett. He's fighting a lot of up and comer guys trying to make their ways through the rankings of
sure.
the lightweight uh through the lightweight rankings. But yeah, I think after that and all of his losses and his age and his time
Yeah.
into the UFC, I think he should call it after that one and hang up the gloves. So you agree with that?
Josh, 100%. Because in this division here, I mean, this division is stacked, Josh. This
Hmm.
division is stacked. I mean, you think about it. Islam, Tarkusin, Armand, Overa, Gaethje, Poirier, Holloway, Hooker, Chandler, Gamrot, Baranouche. You cannot compete in this division. You're going against lower names and you're getting your ass handed to you. You
Mhm.
cannot compete in this division. You're not even in the top 20 now to me. You're not. It's time. You got to go. And you know what? I just don't know what to say to them. Congratulations for your
Mhm.
UFC career. You're
Mhm.
done. Your age is done. You're losing to lesser opponents. And the thing is the way you're losing. At least give me a go to the third round. At least get out of the second round.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
my
Yeah,
God.
I agree. Yeah. Yeah, hang it up, King Green, is all we gotta say.
Yeah, I mean, thanks for the first round, of view that we had on the main card here. First fight of the main card, we're like, okay, we're in for a nice night here. Boom, spinning wheel kick, lights out, good night. Eyes are rolled back in the head. I don't even know if he woke up during the show. He might still be laying out somewhere. You
Yeah.
know, my God. But yeah, this division stack. I think he cannot compete in this division, Josh. He's got to go. I mean, I think
Mhm.
Dana better just do the right decision and say, hey, thank you for your service. See
Adios,
you later.
King
Yeah,
Lee.
adios, buddy. Adios. But let's get into another fight. Now, this was an underdog here, Josh. Amanda
Mhm.
Lemos was a plus 15. I did to put this on a two-game parlay. This to me was really a lock to me. I mean, I thought it might be. I didn't think it was going to be unanimous. I thought it would be a split, which I said I think Lemos might lose the first round, win the second round. But you had it different. You had Lemos coming out fast during this fight, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah, because of her, previous career, she's a
Hmm.
very hard hitting, for the strawweight division, she's a very
Yeah.
hard hitting person. And but I honestly, I hate to say this, but this fight was kind of a sleeper to me. To go to the decisions.
Yeah.
Amanda Lemos, it almost seemed as if she was very dominant.
Yeah.
I feel like she dominated the second and third round. The first round, was iffy, but yeah, I feel like she just used her experience, used what she knew, and just
Hmm.
held Lucindo down to get that decision. I think it was a clear victory on her part. But you, the women's division of the UFC is such like I don't know. It's very hard for them. They're just like the flyweight division for the men's.
Hmm.
It's so hard to get knockouts, and it's so hard to get that audience grab and those attentions, and not have those boring fights. And I don't know. I feel like these two women could have performed a lot better than what they did. Lucinda knew who she was going up against, so she
Hmm.
seemed very hesitant. And Amanda Lemos, obviously she saw Lucindo as a problem,
Yeah.
so she used her experience and everything she didn't take any chances.
Hmm.
Neither of these fighters took any chances because it's a high risk between these two. And it really showed in their performance. And yeah, yeah. What do you think about this fight, Paul?
I mean, I think it was all technical on Limos's part. I mean,
Hmm.
Lucindo's a younger fighter. We know she is. We've seen how she has the cardio. But in the first rounds and the second round, she tried getting takedowns, and Lemos had no part of that. I think it was just the size, the strength, where you feel, your mind says, okay, I think I can take her down. I'm fast. I'm strong. Going against I want to say an older veteran like Lemos, because she is, almost twice, not twice the age, but a lot older than Lucindo. But that goes a long way when you try to get takedowns on somebody and you're shut down right away in the first two rounds. That to me is like, well, what the hell can I do here? But I give
Hmm.
credit to Lemos because it wasn't a boring fight, but I do want to say the name boring is the word boring. But she did what she had to do. She dominated the fight in her ways. Take down defense, control, and she actually did get a nice strike in it and hit her under the eye in that first round. So
Hmm.
the striking was there too, but she just had basic instinct to win this fight all three rounds. I honestly thought it was going to be like a 1-2, event here, but congratulations, Lemos. Now, how do you see this playing out for Lucinda, who's still young, Josh? Where do you see her? Because
She's only
Welly,
22, 23
yeah,
years old, right?
hmm,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
No, she's got to work her way up. She's 17 and 6 right now, but she's
hmm,
so young. She could put so much time into the UFC.
right,
I doubt she's hit her prime yet, and I think
agree,
we'll see her back. She lost against Amanda Lemos, so
hmm,
it's working your way up again. Give her a couple
agree,
low fighters trying to come up into the UFC, and then if she gets a win on some of those, then fight another ranked opponent and try to just work your way up. It's just back to the drawing boards with her is all it
Mhm.
is. She's so young that she has that time to be able to take this loss, learn from it, and come back from it. We'll definitely see more of her.
I agree 100%. I mean, this division, we do have, coming up, I think it's what, UFC 315, where we have Zhang versus the other girl, Zhayong, for the championship. That's coming up
Mhm.
in a couple months. That's going to be huge. That's 1 and 2. But this division, Josh, just like you said, 22 years old. These
Mhm.
women are getting older in age. This girl's 22 and she's ranked seventh right now. And she's fought some good fighters. She's getting the experience. Hey, who's to say 5 years from now, barring that we get someone else like, a Welly Yang coming back in the division, a new one, this girl could be the future of this division pretty damn soon, Josh,
Yeah,
at that
yeah,
age.
totally. Especially with the age of a lot of these,
Mhm.
the goats of the female
Right.
division, like Nama Nunez, Zhang Weili.
Mhm.
Those people, they're not going to be in the UFC in the next 10 years.
Agree.
They may not even be in the UFC in the next
Right.
5 years.
Mhm. Right.
So, but if Lucindo keeps it up and keeps working hard, and we may see her high in those rankings because she may
Agree.
be in the UFC for the next 10 years. In 10 years,
Mhm.
she'll only be 32, 33 years old. She has so much time to spend in this division.
Agree.
Maybe
Agree.
maybe it's a good thing she lost to Amanda Lemos, so that she can just sit there and really try harder and work her way up.
Mhm. Well, where do you think Lemos goes in this? Because we know the 1 and 2, top division in here. Vanderdoba is number 3. Okay, then you have Andre at 4, then you have Amanda at 5. Now
Mhm.
she's lost to Vanderdoba or Janderdoba, and she's lost to Andre as well. So where do you
Mhm.
keep her? What do you see next for her? Maybe Janderdoba gets a shot, or whoever wins the title here. Where do you see her
Yeah.
falling? Because she's 5 right now, and 1 and 2 are clearly 1 and 2. We know that, and they're possibly on depending on how that fight goes. That could be a rematch. So you might be, 6 months down the line for a title shot, but she's lost at number 3 and 4. How do you see
Mhm.
Lemos playing out now?
Well, I see her. So there was a fight canceled between her and Tatiana Suarez, who just
Yeah.
fought
Hmm.
Zhang Weili for the
Yes.
belt. I
Hmm.
can see her fighting Tatiana Suarez in the
Okay.
future. That fight being coming up again. Tatiana
Gotcha.
Suarez is coming a loss against Zhang Weili. These girls have both
Hmm.
lost to her.
Yeah.
I agree, Jandiroba. I think she's next in line after this next fight for the title shot,
Hmm.
and then Amanda Lemos fights Tatiana Suarez and probably fights somebody else. I don't really know who. I can't put a name on it, but
Hmm.
I bet you she has 2 or 3 more fights, and if she can get
Okay.
2 or 3 more wins in a row, she may be going for that belt. I could see her going for the belt. But what Amanda Lemos does have against her is time and age. She's
Yeah.
37 years old.
Yeah.
In 3 years she's going to be in her 40s. She's getting out into that area where it's going to be very hard for her to get that title shot if she doesn't get wins. She's probably
Agree.
2 more losses from retiring. Which
Agree.
could happen in the future, but yeah,
Agree
I see
100%.
what you're
She's
saying.
not only fighting the opponent, she's fighting the clock too. And
Yes, yes.
Father Time doesn't play around. You get to that certain age, your instincts, your strength, and cardio go fast. I'm 53, and there's times I can't even get up in the morning, Josh. So I know what these fighters are feeling about. But I hate to bring up this fight, Josh, because this is the fight that you lost. The 4 out of 5
Yeah.
was this one here. Another first round submission, Josh. This one we didn't get the wheel kick, the spinning wheel kick. We got a triangle choke. Wow.
Yeah.
You did not see this coming, Josh?
No, no, I did not see this coming at all. I did not see Jalen Turner being submitted by this guy at all. I thought Jalen
Hmm.
Turner would have better
Yeah.
ground defense than that. Um, but congrats to Bahamondes.
Yeah.
Like that, he put on an amazing performance against him. Jalen Turner, you know, who retired after that fight. He was a ranked guy.
Yeah.
He was in the lower rankings of the lightweight division, but he was still in the top 15. And for Bahamondes, to just dominate him in the first round to get that submission, it really shows. These
But Josh,
younger guys, they have a lot to work up to.
okay.
And Bahamondes, he put on an amazing performance, dominated every
Yeah.
second of that fight against Jalen Turner. He did not stand a chance. And yeah, hats off to him. I really thought Jalen Turner, I thought all of his losses, I thought something would kick into him and say that, like, hey, I am a UFC fighter in the lightweight division. I need to get my shit together and I need to beat this guy to stay in here. And he lost and he ended up retiring, which I think was a good decision on his part. You get all those losses. He's 14-9.
Yeah.
He's over 50% of his losses. And you can't be having that in the lightweight division in the UFC. These guys, this is the most stacked division. These are the toughest, hardest men, and I think it was very wise for Jalen Turner to put down the gloves and retire after that fight. What do you think? How do you think about this fight? What do you think about it?
We went into this prediction here talking about Bahamas, his record, he's 17-5. He's coming off of 2 first-round decisions. He's still a up-and-coming fighter, name-wise and recognition-wise in the division. But we, just like you, I agree 100% because we both talked about Turner. Man, you're coming off a loss versus Moicano. You beat King Green. Okay, King Green is nothing to boost your resume anymore. It's really not. And then you lose to Dan Hooker, then you lose to Gamrot, then you go back 2022. You beat who? Brad. What was his name? I think it was Brad Rydell or something like that. You beat him, but 4 out of the last 5
Yeah,
losses, and your only win was against King Green, really? A name guy? Yeah, I'm so glad he retired, but at least give me a showing. At least give me a showing in I just don't know how to. I can't pinpoint this guy in my mind of what the hell happened with this guy last Saturday. I
Well,
can't.
I just hope Bahamondes is the
The
guy
real
we
deal?
wanted
Yeah.
Jalen Turner to be. Jalen Turner was
Mhm.
6'2".
Yes.
He's in the lightweight division. He's known to be a very tall
Mhm.
lightweight fighter.
Right.
Well, Ignacio Bahamondes, he meets him at that height. He's one of the tallest lightweight
Mhm.
fighters in the roster. I just hope that Bahamondes becomes and is the Jalen Turner that us fans wanted Jalen Turner to
Right.
be a dominant, tall, lightweight fighter who's able to work his way up the rankings. And
Mhm.
we need some new guys coming up in here.
Agreed.
In the lightweights. It's been dominated by the same, 7
Yeah.
guys for the past almost a decade.
Yeah.
The Poirier and Gaethje and Islam. They have been dominating this whole. They've lost a few times, but at the same time, everybody who comes up to try and fight them, they take care of. They're just
Mhm.
constantly in a circle of battling and fighting each other. But yeah, no, I really hope Bahamondes is becomes what us lightweight fans wanted Jalen Turner to be.
Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, you can only beat the fighter that's across from you in the octagon. Hey, congratulations, you did your job. Nothing,
Mhm.
nothing taken away from you. I just want to see your next fight. I want to see domination. Again, I don't care who you're fighting. I
Yeah,
just want to see the same continuous, progressive technique,
finishes. Yeah.
everything. Yeah, exactly. From that you have here, because just like you said, man, this division, you're top 7, and I don't even care if number 7 fights number 6. I'm tuning in that fight because this division in lightweight is stacked. And just like you said, they take care of business. These front 7 guys, doesn't matter who up and coming guy, they put them in front. They take care of business. They dominate whatever they have to do. They win. But I want to see some new blood in this division, man. I really do. I hate saying
Mhm.
it because this division is so damn good. I want to see some new blood in this division. I really do, Josh. I have to, you know.
Yes, sir.
But let's get to the co-main event here. Let's talk about this fight here. Justin Gaethje, okay, a unanimous decision. How did you feel about this one,
Alright,
Josh?
alright,
Because
listen, first of all, if you didn't bet on Justin Gaethje, you are
yes,
fucking crazy. I have
yes,
no fucking clue how this guy was an underdog. If we're
yes,
talking about Justin fucking Gaethje here,
yeah,
and he was a plus 150 going into that
hmm
fight.
yeah,
I don't It blew my mind. I would have bet the house if I could on
mhm,
this man. He dominated Rafael Fiziev in every single round. I thought it was going to be a 5-round co-main event. I'm very disappointed it wasn't because I feel like if it was 5 rounds, Gaethje would have gotten the finish in the fourth
hmm
and fifth round.
agree.
Um, I'm a little upset he didn't get the finish, but still got a performance of the night bonus. Got Justin Gaethje, man. Going back to last week, I said I guess people are putting him off because he got knocked out by Max Holloway in UFC 300.
hmm
But we're talking about Justin Gaethje,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Like, for this guy to be an underdog, it just blew my mind. Rafael Fiziev, he's a phenomenal fighter. You know, he's 12-4. He went on a crazy win streak, you know, in the beginning of his UFC career, but he's lost twice now. Two of those four losses are to the same man, Justin
Yeah.
Gaethje. You know, and for people to think that he can come back after that first fight, you know, I can completely see that. You know, he's a lot younger than Justin Gaethje. He lost that first time.
Mhm.
Maybe he worked on that and got something back, and we're going to see a new Rafael Fiziev. You know, but we didn't.
Right.
We saw the same old Raphael, and we saw him get his ass beat against Justin Gaethje again. And yeah, Justin Gaethje just had a phenomenal performance. And if you bet $1 against him, you are stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I made my money with the Lemos and this one here. I didn't understand why these two, fighters were the dogs. I mean, I just didn't understand it. I mean, that was my
Hmm.
two fight parlay. I put 50 on it. Thank God it was like a plus 320. I
Hmm.
made my money up right there. I could care less about the other fights. That even though I watched them, of course, we bet on them, but that was my money maker right there. And just like you said, if you didn't take Gaethje, you're clear out of your fucking mind. I'll tell you that
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now. That's a bet the house, and I can bet your mom's house, bet your grandma's house,
yeah, yeah.
bet your first kid, man. But the first round, I mean, because he did look good, he secured a takedown, which I'm thinking like, okay, this is good. Get it on the ground here,
Hmm.
use that there. But John, so I was reading something. They're saying that Fizzy had a toe injury. Did you see something like that?
I don't think I saw anything like that. Whatever excuse you want to make coming up and fighting
Exactly,
Justin Gaethje,
exactly.
you can go ahead and make. But at the end of the day, you got your ass beat, dude. You
Yes,
came out, you know, you're supposed to be sitting here training. He was out for 2 years, you know,
right.
due to tearing, you know, against that fight. I guess it was Gamrot, right? He got an
Hmm.
injury during the Gamrot fight.
Yes. Hmm.
You know, you come back after 2 years and you fight Justin Gaethje, that's not an easy fight to come back after 2
Right.
years, you know what I mean? Let alone if you're gonna complain about a toe injury. If you had a toe injury, don't take the fucking fight. You
Hmm.
know,
Yep.
if you're not at 100% and you know at short notice, don't take the fucking fight. You know, you knew what you were doing, you
100%.
knew what you were getting into, whether that injury was hours beforehand or days beforehand or minutes beforehand, you know,
Mhm.
you are a UFC fighter in the lightweight division, and you are going in to fight Justin Gaethje. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. You need to give your all. And in that third round,
Mhm.
that's why I say I wish this fight went into 5 rounds because in that third round, Rafael Fiziev was half the man he was when
100%.
from when he walked in on that first round.
Mhm.
He didn't. In Justin Gaethje, he was hungry.
Yeah.
He was hungry coming after that loss to Max Holloway. You know, like I understand we watched him get knocked out, but he got his nose broke in like the first or second round in that Max
Exactly.
Holloway fight and fought 5 rounds
Yeah.
in one of the most um what the boxing with pressure. You know,
Mhm.
Max Holloway, he has some of the most pressure boxing in the UFC, and he
Right.
went 5 rounds against that man with a broken nose.
Agree.
You know, I don't know to just not shun him, but to go against Justin Gaethje like that and to
Yeah.
make him that underdog. It was absolutely crazy to me. What are your thoughts about this fight? You know, how do you feel about Justin Gaethje being an underdog, and how do you feel about this fight?
We talked about judges being complete freaking dumbasses.
Mhm.
Las Vegas, thank you for making me some money because you are the complete dumbass for putting him at the odds that it was,
Yeah.
first and foremost. But 100% right. I mean, what I tell a lot of my friends, man, two fights that always ring in my mind: the Leon Edwards kick, the kick heard around the world, number one, that, and then with Max Holloway and Gaethje, the best 15 seconds of my life in UFC, the last round there, the point down to me, I'll always stick in my mind. But you're right, man. That third round where Fiziev was just out of gas, he wasn't himself. He didn't have the cardio. He looked
He was
defeated even before
defeated.
the
Yeah,
bell
he was
started.
defeated.
Yeah. Hmm. And the hunter, man, Gaethje was the hunter. He came out of there with one thing on his mind: let's just fucking beat this kid's ass. Let's get him out of
Oh,
here.
yeah.
If I don't submit him, I'm gonna make him feel the entire fight here. all minutes of the fight, and he did. I'm nothing against him. He got his ass kicked, man. He was just awesome. I love him. And you look at Gaethje, man. Just like you said, the top 7 athletes in this division. God, look at his fights though, man. Holloway, Poirier, Oliveira, Chandler. Like he's fighting the top dudes every fucking 3 months, Josh.
Mhm.
Every 3 months, and he's going to battle. The dude does not give up at all. First round, he got his nose broken. What happened? He went the distance again, and it took the point down for him to lose. Like
Mhm.
the dude is a beast, man. I love watching this dude, and thank you, Gaethje, for that. We knew you were the dog. We knew it was coming
Oh
out. We
yes.
knew that was coming out.
Oh
Easy
yeah.
money on that one. Oh my
He
God.
was a dog, but he definitely, I don't know,
Definitely. Well, where do you see
definitely.
Gaethje getting? I mean, he got the unanimous decision here. How do you feel that? And this division is stacked, Josh. Where are we going to put him now? Does he get another shot? Where does he go? Because listen, he's number 3. He's number 3 right now, Josh.
So in the past, okay,
Hmm.
we're gonna talk about the past. All right, Dustin. We're gonna talk about different fighters too. So
Hmm.
Dustin Poirier fights Justin Gaethje for the BMF title, gets head kick knocked out by Justin Gaethje. Okay,
Yeah.
comes back, fights Benoit Saint-Denis, which I think at the time was number 12 in the rankings. He
Hmm.
beats him, knocking him out in the second round. And then, after being Benoit Saint-Denis and losing to Justin Gaethje, he goes and fights Islam Makhachev for the belt in a crazy,
Yeah.
awesome, one of the best title defense, I've ever seen. It was
Hmm.
amazing. And everybody thought it was going to be his retirement fight. Well, the same things just happened to Justin Gaethje. He fought for the BMF belt. He got knocked
Yeah.
out in the 5th round by Max
Yeah.
Holloway, coming back fighting Rafael Fiziev and beating him in a decision. He didn't get the knockout like Dustin Poirier did, but he beat him in a
Yeah.
decision. And we've never seen Islam versus Justin. I need that fight. I want that fight. That fight needs to happen. I'm not saying that it needs to
Okay.
happen right away,
Okay.
but who else is there for Makachev? Who else?
Oh, you got Armand. You
He's
got
fought
Armand out there.
Oliveira.
You got Armand out there, right?
I mean, but Armin's got to. Dana said Armin's got to restart. Okay,
Hmm.
he's got to work his way back up. He had his chance and he lost it.
Hmm.
He tried to show off to Nina or whatever,
Right.
and got a back injury. And Dana White said, "You got to start over. You had your chance, you lost it." I could see Armin and Justin going at it for the belt and seeing who the winner of that one gets to go for it.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I don't know. We've never seen Islam versus Justin. I think that is a moneymaker.
I agree.
It is a fight. Like again, Islam already fought Armin. We he already beat him.
Hmm.
He's never fought Justin Gaethje. You
Okay.
know,
Okay.
Khabib has. Khabib beat
Right.
him, but Islam hasn't fought Justin. That fight needs to happen.
So
Justin has been in
are
the
you
top
throwing
5.
okay? Are you throwing Oliveira out of the mix? Are you going to give Gaethje the shot over Oliveira?
Um,
Because I mean, there's some people in this division that hey, you throw your hand in the ring, you deserve a fight too, based on records. And because Josh, this is a 7-man rotation here. You go down the line here. Who you fight is this? It's a no. It's not no names. It's top of the cream of the crop here.
all right. So me personally, like I don't. This is completely biased. Everything
Hmm.
I'm saying is completely
Hmm.
biased to me. UFC could think one way, and everybody listening can think another way. But me personally, Islam has already fought Charles.
Yes.
I don't
Mhm.
see, I see Charles coming back and, still working his way up to fight
Okay.
Islam. But we haven't seen Justin versus Islam. We haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Uh, there could be a Charles or an Oliveira versus Makachev too. That could happen, but I think that there would be more money and a bigger fan base behind Justin Gaethje going up for the title. And
Mhm.
and and again, that is completely biased. That is completely my thoughts, my opinion. I would rather want to see Justin fight for the belt against Islam rather than Charles fight Islam again for the belt.
Okay.
Not saying I wouldn't like to see them fight again. I would love to see Oliveira versus Makhachev number 2, but I would even more want to see Gaethje versus Makhachev number 1.
Okay.
I and we're on- we only not too long ago, I forget who Justin Gaethje fought. It was before he fought Dustin Poirier, I think. He
Hmm.
was talking about retiring. He's
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about going for the belt and retiring, just like how Dustin Poirier is talking right now. We don't have long with Justin Gaethje. We really don't. And I want to see how he's going to perform against Islam. I
Wasn't that
just
the
I don't.
Oliveira fight? Wasn't that the Oliveira fight? Because that's who he fought before Holloway.
No, I don't think it was the Oliveira fight. I think it was the one after the Oliveira fight. I can double
That
check.
was Poirier. That was Poirier. He beat Poirier. His last four fights were
It might have
Holloway,
been
Poirier, Oliveira,
Fiziev.
Chandler. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was the Rafael Fiziev fight where he was
Okay.
talking about wanting to. Yeah, I think it was after
Okay.
Charles. He
Okay.
was he fought Rafael Fiziev and he won, and he was talking about
Gotcha.
retiring. And then after beating Rafael Fiziev, he went on to fight Dustin Poirier. But I
Hmm.
remember specifically after that post fight interview, he was talking in the octagon like, "Hey, I don't have much more of this in me. I'm gonna hang the gloves up soon." And before he does that, I really want to see Justin go for the title shot. Even though, like,
Okay.
and I will say this too, like, I think he has a low chance of winning against Islam. And me personally, I think Islam Makhachev is the goat. I, I
I agree.
think I think he is the greatest lightweight. I think he's even greater than Khabib.
Ooh.
Uh,
Wow.
just because of now. Listen, I know Khabib has that 30-0 record, but
Hmm.
Islam is a more dominant fighter because not only does he have the grappling of Khabib, but he has striking against him. He head kicked Alexander Volkanovski
Yeah.
to death.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he
Yeah.
knocked him out. So that
Yeah.
is why. But even though Justin Gaethje has, will probably go into that Makhachev fight as an underdog. Just me as a UFC fan, seeing everything that I have seen, I just know that that would be a very, very entertaining lightweight fight because I think Islam going into it is going to try and stand and bang with him for the most part to see what, just to like show like, hey, I'm the best in the world. I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do to Justin Gaethje. And I don't know. I just see that fight being so entertaining in my head. I
Okay.
just see it playing out. I see Islam winning, but I just see it being one of the greatest lightweight fights we could ever put together.
Mhm.
What do you
No,
think? What do you
no,
think is in the future for Justin?
I agree 100% with you there because you know what I'm tired of seeing. I don't. Of course, you know what, a fight. I would love to see the Oliveira fight number two. I would love to see that too. But you convinced me because I would like to see Gaethje. I do think Islam is going to be the clear favorite. You know, I get
Hmm.
that. I would put money on him, even if it's maybe a minus 130. I'll lay a couple on there because I think he
Hmm.
will win. But my thing is, I love how you say he's going to go out and prove, like, okay, you put this guy in front of me. I'm going to take care of business. I'm either going to submit him. I'm going to knock him out. I'll do what I have to do here to do it. But then again, this is Justin fucking Gaethje. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean, the
yeah.
dog, man. This is a dog that he's going to give you a 5 round fight. You ain't going to take him out. You might beat his ass the first 3 rounds,
Hmm.
but I guarantee he knows he lost. He's coming out that fourth and fifth round with one intention to knock your ass out to secure a victory.
Yeah.
I think I agree with you. I want to see this fight. I really do because it's never happened for these two dudes. And I mean, this to me draws one name, a McGregor type prime time
McGregor,
ticket.
yeah, yeah.
It really does. It draws that kind of ticket to me. I'll be like, okay, Josh, if it's close, brother, we got to go to this fight. We got to get there. You know, I want to see this fight. I agree, but I do think Islam takes the fight there. But man, Dana, make this goddamn fight, man.
Yeah.
You know. But we got one more fight to talk about real quick, Josh. The main event, man. This is the only fight we did disagree on, and I got to give you your props. Your boy won, and I'm not talking he won. He just fucking won. Okay, let's put it that way. Okay, let's
I
talk about
fucking
it.
told
Oh,
you. I told you that Chama train was over. I
yeah,
told you. He derailed that Chama train so fucking hard. Listen, I understand Alex Pereira, he's coming up in and knocking these guys out, but
man.
the UFC is not glory. It is not
Mm,
kickboxing. The
mm,
UFC is the ultimate fighting champion. And in that fight, even though Uncle Live didn't take him down like I thought he
right.
was going to. He actually like stand and banged with him.
Yeah.
But that man, Magomed, even all the haters hating the Dagestani fighters and hating these guys
Yeah.
coming up, but he dominant. He made Alex Pereira not look like Alex Pereira. He took all of that Chama energy and he broke it in front of him. Alex Pereira did not seem like that same man who fought Khalil Roundtree. He did not see the same man who fought Jamal Hill. He seemed broken down, defeated, and Magomedov or Magomed Ankalaev rather. He just, I don't know. I had a feeling that that was going to happen. I had a feeling. I didn't see it going into the fifth round. That was crazy. I didn't see it
Mhm.
coming to a decision, but yeah, man. Magomed Ankalaev, 21-1. He is light heavyweight. He may be one of the new goats coming up, and maybe
Mhm.
one of a very hated goat. Just because of his background of
Agree.
ethnicity. A lot of these guys, a lot of UFC fans are hating the domination that the Dagestani fighters are
Yeah,
having, but you can't deny it.
agree.
That wrestling and that striking that those guys have and the cardio
Yeah.
Uncle Live had to put on Alex. Looked defeated and tired in the third, by the third round. You just knew it was in the bag for Ankalaev. And Ankalaev played that fight so smart, so
Yeah.
technical. He stood and banged with Alex Pereira, but he did it so technically. He was so
Mhm.
careful because he knew the power of Alex. You could see him. He was standing there, trying to. He circled his hand. Magomed did, trying to sway that left hook from
Yeah.
coming. There's just so many key details in this fight that Ankalaev, you knew he did his homework on Pereira, and
100%.
that's why he dominated him in this fight, man. I
Mhm.
fucking told you that Chama train was over.
He did.
Alex Pereira, you gotta give it to him, entertaining as fuck, but,
Mhm.
but, yeah. But
Jo you're
what's your take on this fight,
you
man?
know
What's
what,
going
Josh?
on?
Yeah, the Chama train is done, man. Give
Yeah,
respect to him. This dude takes fights in fucking 3 months notice. He'll fight 3 times
yeah,
last year
oh
defending his
yeah,
crown. I give him that. Nothing downfall there, but Josh, going into this fight, I thought it could go either way. Magomed's just a different animal, number 1. But Pierre, right off the jump, the introductions, he looked different to me. He looked different. He didn't do his little stride until a quarter of the way to the ring. Usually he does that at least a quarter of the way coming out. It was a different vibe that I got from him. Like, I'm in for a fucking war. I'm in for
hmm
a fucking war. I just seen it on his face. But then after the first round, I thought Pierre had this because the leg kicks, the leg kicks. I mean, he was getting Magomed's leg pretty damn good. He was getting the leg kicks there. We knew,
hmm
but like you said, this ain't fucking glory anymore. You know what I mean? This is UFC best of the best, where you're fighting a fucking Dagestan fighter who has
hmm
the cardio. I can wrestle you. I can stand up and strike you. And that, even with the takedowns, Josh, 1 for 7 on takedowns, but he continued the takedown, Josh. He didn't give
hmm
it up. He didn't abandon it. And that takes so much energy off Pierre right there. The strength, going for the takedown, fighting off the takedown. That took so much away from Pierre. And the thing to me was, I didn't think Pierre thought Magomed was going to stand up and try to fucking strike him. Honestly.
Yeah, I did not see that coming either. I even said in our last podcast that
Mhm.
Uncle Ive's going to sit there and crotch sniff the fuck out of Alex
Yes, the
Pereira,
word
and
you
we were going
used.
to see a
Yes,
snooze
exactly.
fest, and we didn't see that.
Right.
Alex had very good takedown defense, and
Mhm.
Magomedov had I keep calling Magomedov.
Yeah.
Magomed had very good striking. Like both these guys, both of them surprised me in their performance, but what do you see in the future for Alex Pereira?
You know what? Even though he lost the title in this last defense in this division, honestly,
Mhm,
I think he still is going to be one of the best fighters ever in this division. I
mhm,
do think he moves out of this division, though. I really do. What else does he have to prove? Because he's already beat Jiri twice. Okay, he's round robin everybody in here. The new sheriff is in town. We've seen that right here. You know,
mhm.
I don't think he could beat. I don't think he could beat him in a rematch. I really don't. I
Well,
don't.
we haven't seen him fight Rakic, right? we haven't
Yeah, he's
seen him
number 3. No,
fight.
he's number 3. You're right. He's
You
number
know,
3. You're right.
I feel like there's still some guys in the light heavyweight division that we can see Alex Pereira fight and
Mhm.
watch him work his way back up. But this guy, he's another, it's another Amanda Lemos situation where he's
Yeah, he's
37 years
old. He's
old.
old. Yeah.
No, Magomed, he's only 32. So he can be in the division for another 10 years. Glover
Right.
Teixeira, he was in his 40s when he, won the belt at the light
Mhm.
heavyweight division. So Magomed Ankalaev can be in this division for another 10 years. Well, in 10 years, Alex Pereira will be 47. I say we
Ooh.
got 5 more years of Alex Pereira, and I say we have 1 or 2 more really good years where we see the activity that we've had with him.
Okay.
But I think the Chama train's over. I think that this fight is going to be one in the many losses that this guy's going to have in the future. I
Wow.
think that age is going to catch up to him. I think he's going to lose his energy, and I think that people like Rakic, who I think should fight Alex
Mhm.
for a title shot,
Okay.
I think
Contender, the
he's
number
going to
1
start getting
contender. Okay.
dominated by these upcoming fighters. I really do. I think the Chama train's over.
I completely agree with that one too because now that you said that, you think about this, the kickboxing, the power, he has that. We're not going to take that away from him. But when you get a fighter like Magomed that did this fight, he strikes you, his
Hmm.
takedown, he puts every pressure on you to release all that power and that cardio that you have. If you can take Pierre beyond 3 rounds, he's very beatable. If he can beat you in the first 3 rounds by his leg kicks, his power, but if you take away all that energy that he has into the fourth and fifth round, because after that third round, Josh, that uppercut that he had on Pierre, I thought it was lights out. That
Hmm.
uppercut that he had, because he was
Yeah,
staggered, and it was just like,
he was.
oh shit, I don't
He
even think this
rocked
is
him.
going to go out of the fourth round. I don't think we're going to get out of the fourth round after
Yeah,
that.
yeah, no, it was very surprising. I did
Mhm.
not see it going to the 5th round at all, but yeah.
Agree, agree. Well, Josh, our next show, we're going to be on next Friday night. And I know we'll be on March 21st, but I know March 22nd, there's a pretty nice card coming up March 22nd, man.
Yes, sir.
Man, let's say Leon Edwards versus Sean Brady. And then we have Blank Shot, which we just talked about. Okay. We just talked about him. I want to see how he performs because now with Pierre losing, it's his shot. It's his shot right now. The meal ticket is here, but he's got to he's got to beat Carlos, Oberg here. Uh, I
Yeah,
can't wait this
Carlos is 12-1 coming up. I think this is more Carlos's Olberg's fight to get in
Okay.
that title
Hmm.
contendency rather than Jan Blakovic because Jan Blakovic, he's one of the oldest fighters in the division right now.
Yeah.
Let me see here. He's Jan Blakovic is actually 42 right now. That is
Whoa.
ancient in UFC years.
Wow.
And for Carlos Ulberg, to be coming up and fighting him, Jan Blakovic, this is a very scary fight for him.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, I agree. There's so many good fights on this card. We'll talk about it next weekend. But yeah, I'm
Definitely.
very excited to talk about this. For a fight night, this is a pay-per-view fight for a UFC fight night, in my opinion. I'm very excited.
And I know, Josh, we talked backstage, and I think some of these are your favorite fighters here. So you can't wait for this card.
Yeah.
Next Saturday night. I can't wait for next week. We'll give our predictions for, as we always do. Pick one from the prelims, your main prelim fight. I'll pick one. We'll go to the main card as well to give you our thoughts and predictions. And just letting you guys know, run with Josh's picks because he was 4 out of 5 and I was 3 out of 5 this week. So you're up on me. You're up on me one so far inside the Octagon predictions, Josh. But
Yes,
it
sir.
was a great show tonight. What was your overall thoughts of UFC 13, though, Josh? Overall thoughts from top to bottom.
Um, it was very I don't know. What were your thoughts on it, Paul?
Okay, you know what? I want to say more. Nah, because the last fight fucked me up, fucked my bank account up. But I want to say more. To me, it was questionable from the referees, but more to me it was. I want to say the word predictable a little bit because
Mhm.
we called 3 of the fights being
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
easy. You know what I mean? But there was some head turners, man. Like what head turner, Jalen Turner. His ass
Yeah.
got knocked the fuck out. I thought it was going to be a little bit longer than that. And King Green is just. We've seen 2 fighters. Just you know what? I can't watch you anymore. I can't watch you anymore, honestly. But I don't have a really one word for this. I don't want to say predictable because 3 fights were predictable. The dogs just dominated the fights there, of course. But I don't know. I don't know if I had really like one word to describe UFC 313. As a fan, I love it no matter what happens. I can't say I don't, but
Mhm.
I don't know, Josh. I don't know. I don't know. Kind of weird.
Yeah, yeah, I'm lost for words with you as well. It's just it was a UFC pay-per-view. I'll give it that. I think
Yeah.
it was I don't think it was worth $80 that I spent to watch it, but hey,
Wait a minute.
that's
You
why we're
spent eighty
fans.
dollars to watch it?
Yeah, yeah, 70 I didn't buy it the week prior to get the $10 discount. But yeah, yeah, I
Oh, Josh, we gotta talk, brother. We gotta talk. Okay, we gotta. Because
Yes,
you
sir.
you seen what I have, right?
Yeah,
I'll hook you up with it. I'll hook you up with it. You know what I
yes,
mean?
sir.
But before we go get out of here, we want to mention our sponsors out there. Jason Fine Law. Make sure you reach out to him. 1-800-HURT-123. Attorney Jason Fine. Attorney Big Al. Workman's Comp, personal injury claims. Three convenient locations: Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, and of course Cherry Hill. Mention Out of the Box Sports Entertainment. No recovery, no fee. And you're never going to find this with any lawyer out there. I don't care if he's your dad, your mother, whatever, family member. Jason says no recovery, no fee. You're part of the Out of the Box family. 33.33% guaranteed rate. And also, last but not least, here's our schedule. You're already in. It's Friday night here. It's Inside the Octagon. Tomorrow night, we have the Atomic Drop talking WWE wrestling. So make sure you check out our weekly schedule. Our new schedule will be dropping Sunday night for all your needs out there. We have new shows coming too. Just the Facts, an independent wrestling show. Big Blue Hour, the New York Giants. The NFL live draft. We're going to have about 10 hosts live during the NFL draft. And of course, the Golden Dome Notre Dame show every Saturday and post game show as well. So make sure you follow Out of the Box Sports Entertainment, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and all streams are sponsored by that guy, 1-800-HURT-123, Attorney Big Al. So, Josh, another week of Inside the Octagon, man. I had so much fun doing this with you, man, because it's so hard to find someone that has passion and just loves UFC like you do, man. I love you. I love it, man. Oh, you're muted. There you
Yeah,
go.
it's my bad.
All
Yeah,
good.
no, I love it too, man. And I can't wait to catch up with you next week and to talk about the main fight for next Saturday coming
Definitely,
up.
man.
And
I can't wait because I know you're going to be all over this one. I probably might not be able to get a word in because this is your card. You March 22nd. This is your card. You've already told me about it. So, brother, you're taking the lead on this one because I can't wait to hear what you're going to say about this card, man. So,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
a UFC pay-per-view event. This card for me right now.
yes,
It just
yeah, yeah,
definitely,
yeah. I 100% agree, Paul. I 100%
definitely.
agree. Well, Paul, it was a wonderful show, man. Thank you for having me again, and can't wait to catch you next week.
Hey, the privilege is all mine, man. Thank you. My name is Paul Spencer. That is Josh right there. You're watching Inside the Octagon on Out of the Box Sports Entertainment, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Twitter. And we'll be back next week, same time, same channel, 7 p.m. Friday night. We'll see you then. Enjoy your week.